Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here for just a couple minutes of your day. I appreciate you guys. Today, we are going to talk about Vagabond. I've read Vinland Saga, Berserk, and now I finally read Vagabond. I read like the big three of the non-shonen manga. I cannot think of it right off the top of my head right now, but I did finally do it. I finally did all three of them. I'm going to do a video of all three of them in the future, and I cannot wait to talk about it. So I've been trying to figure out how I want to approach Vagabond. You are following the life of Musashi throughout this whole book. There is other characters you meet, and that's the thing. It's like you meet all these characters, and the way that the author writes these characters is they're honestly not on screen that much, but you still remember them. They all have very impactful character moments in these because all these harsh life lessons that you're learning in the story is all affecting Musashi, and after he learns his lesson, he moves on, and you still embody that. And there's points where it flashes back to where you do see these characters and you're like, oh yes, I remember this part of the story, or yes, I remember this part of the story of Vagabond. And it's just blows my mind how crazy this story is. It's such a beautiful thing. I don't want to spoil anything. I really don't. This is the first time I actually don't want to spoil anything in such a long series. Granted, it's not completed yet. The author is on hiatus, I guess, because he's in a spot where he just doesn't know where to go with the story. So how he ended it is it feels like it's a ending. So, and that's fine with me. I mean, I'm not upset with it. I think the story is just so good to the point where it's fine. I'm not upset about it. I don't know how to formulate the best words for this story besides it's so life-changing in how you look at things, because there's so much of it where it's built on with violence is one of the things, because Musashi wants to be invincible under the sun. He wants to be the greatest swordsman. You learn so much through that rage, revenge, and strength, and all this isn't what you truly need. Is a calm mind, and you have to be one with yourself, one with your sword. In a lot of these meanings, at first I didn't think it was going to reflect how I would look at my life, but when you really read and just learn about all this in-depth things about what Musashi wants to do with his life, and all these mentor characters that talk to him how he should elevate his life and how he should become a better swordsman, it really reflects you as a person. To me, I didn't think, oh yeah, it's just a guy that's wanting to be a swordsman. Why should I get affected by this? How is this going to affect me, or how is this going to improve my life? When you learn that this man has always was called a demon or a beast when he was a child, and now he kind of owns that now as an adult, but throughout his life, he learns that he doesn't need any of those things to be better. And it's just such a crazy character development throughout just this. And where I ended, it was only in a span of a year. Where the first volume is to volume 36 is what I read up to. I haven't read 37 because it wasn't part of the 3-in-1 manga thing, so I don't know what happens in volume 37 yet. To me, it's crazy how this takes in a span of 1 year, and so much happens in that year where you don't really think about it being a year. I actually thought it was a couple years. So when I was reading all of this, I just didn't know how to express myself because it was just such beautiful work. Just the messaging. One of the hardest parts, the deepest thing. So I noticed each one of these, Berserk, Vinland Saga, and Vagabond, all kind of have a little saying. Vinland Saga has, I have no enemies. It hits pretty hard. A lot of people, especially when the season 2 came out, it hit everyone really hard. Guts is, Berserk is I fight for myself, but now it's I fight for her. It's one of those things. But this is Invincible Under the Sun, and now it's Invincible is just a word. There was a scene in that where Musashi wanted to know, he wants to be invincible under the sun, and a man that was dying said invincible is just a word. As soon as I heard that, it hit me so deep to the point where I'm like, wow, the meaning of what Musashi was trying to do for so long was shattered. And after he heard that, he worked and worked and worked and worked and worked to understand that, to understand his whole life. And yes, this is bloody, it's very violent, but the deep meaning of how Musashi is as a character, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Because there's times where there's hardly any dialogue or hardly any words. It's just Musashi just out in the woods thinking, having these deep thoughts, and that's more personal than reading of being told what's going on in his mind, because you could just see it, and it's just wow. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Vinland Saga and Berserk do the same thing, but I just was so flabbergasted with Vagabond. Just the amount of vibes you got through this, of just these deep moments, and there is some funniness. But at first it's not really that funny. It's very serious. But the more you learn with Musashi, the more you actually see his character. Because the most of the time, Musashi never smiled. He was always serious. He's just killing fools, right? But then you get to the point where the second half of this, Musashi starts, you notice that he starts becoming kind of like a funny guy. He starts having a little humor. Not just that, but his facial expressions in the manga, in the panels, it's where it's like funny, he's like derpy looking, some things where he's just like this. You could see like his personality is growing. He's becoming more than what he once was. And I guess I just never really noticed that until I was like further more into the manga. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see so much stuff going on, and it's just beautiful. I think I'm trying not to spoil things. I really am not. But I will say one of the best moments. This is a spoiler. So if you guys are wanting to read Vagabond, then you can exit right off of here and watch this video later. So the Invincible Under the Sun line is really deep, right? This journey you have with Musashi. There's a part where this mentor, I'm sorry with names. I mean, I'm not the greatest with names. Excuse me. The mentor who told him about Invincible is just a word. It's like a spirit that is in Musashi's head constantly, that he is kind of like guiding Musashi in a way. And there was a part where he said, Musashi, you should smile more. A couple pages later, at the end of this chapter, Musashi smiles. Hit me so hard, because I never really realized Homeboy doesn't smile. Like, he never smiled. And oh my gosh, when that happened, I was like, oh, it hit me so hard. And I realized, yeah, this is gonna be one of my favorite manga, one of my favorite series of all time. Like, without a doubt, this is one of my favorite series of all time. It's not even comparable. It cannot not be on there. I thought about doing a favorite series video in the future, but spoilers of Vinland Saga, Berserk, and Vagabond are all on it. No idea where the order will be for them, but those three, without a doubt. I don't care if people say manga don't count. Manga counts as reading. I don't care what anyone says. If you're reading that page, wow. It's just such a deep meanings in this series that I just never thought I would see. And I can understand why people talk about like how good Vagabond is. Yes, I get why Berserk's good. There's a lot of reasons why Berserk is amazing. I love Berserk. Same thing with Vinland Saga. Both of them are awesome. But I understand why Vagabond is beautiful. I guess that's the best way to say it, is that it is so beautiful. It's not about love or anything. Like, there is moments where you think the characters are gonna fall in love with each other. I hope that when the story ends, Musashi does find his love with Otsu. I really hope that works out. You know, I really, really do. But at the same time, how his character is, it would make sense that he wouldn't be with her, which I hope he does. You know, this story was phenomenal. I don't know how to go about this, because I really don't want to go into spoilers, because it just was awesome. I love this so much. It's just game changer. It was something I never thought I would enjoy as much, because I started with Vinland Saga, and I loved Vinland Saga. Then I did Berserk, and I love Berserk. I was asked, which one do you like more? And I'm like, I can't tell you. I have no idea. And then I was asked, then I finished Vagabond. And my buddy was like, which one do you like out of the three of them? Like, they're so similar, but they're so different of how they approach everything. But the meaning behind each one is so deep. And I do plan on doing a giant video of the three of them in the future, because I really want to talk about all three of them, because these three are so life-changing for me, and it's just beautiful. The story of Vagabond is beautiful, and I love it. I already plan on getting Musashi tattooed on my body, on my leg, right next to Thorfinn and Guts, because I gotta. It's great. I mean, if I had to rate this series out of 10, it's a 10 out of 10, without a doubt. I'd literally give every volume a 5. It was awesome. 5 out of 5 every time. It was 10 out of 10. An amazing story. Is this for everyone? No, it's not. I think for the male audience that I have on here, it's more towards the male audience than it would be for the women, which is fine. I mean, not everything's gonna be for both. I think for the male audience, I would say, yeah, this is something I think a lot of men should read. Same thing with Berserk and Vinland Saga. It's just, there's a lot of things that teaches you about masculinity in all three of them that I think is very important for men in general. So I would recommend all of this. If you guys managed to see that in the video, I do appreciate it. What do you guys think about Vagabond, or have you not read Vagabond yet? Did I spoil anything in Vagabond that you were like, oh, wow, this mother effer ruin Vagabond for me. If not, awesome. If you have read Vagabond, let me know down below what is your thoughts. Who was your favorite character in Vagabond that was not Musashi? Because I feel like everyone's favorite character in Vagabond was Musashi. And of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.